Unfortunately, this is offense, and Heavy isn't the best at offense.
Behind you. Behind you.
Oh, thank you.
It's beginning to look a lot like Dustfall.
Everywhere
you go.
Oh, I crit that heavy. Oh, there's a sniper! There's a sniper!
Sniper?
Sniper gaming.
Hey, oh god!
And
That was critical.
Looks like some tremendous scene. Hello guys, I'm the Gamer 10 and welcome back to more Team Fortress 2. In the last episode, we looked over the demo man, the drunk black Scottish Cyclops with an explosive personality. In this episode, every team needs an anchor to rally around, or rally behind. A tanky character or class that can take as much damage as he or she can dish out. A big character for the team to get behind, who can hold the front lines while they go back and heal or restock on ammo. For TF2, we have probably its most well-known class, the Heavy Weapons Guy. But you can just call him the Heavy.
Some people think they can outsmart me. Maybe. Maybe. I've yet to meet one that can outsmart Bullet.
A good Heavy is a big deal in any team fight in TF2, and I ain't just talking about his chunky stature. With his minigun, he's able to hunker down and defend important objectives, close off choke points, lead a push or provide covering fire, the works. In terms of raw defense, Heavy is probably the most defensive class in the game, given that Demo is a mixed offense/defense class, and Engineer honestly is more supportive than strictly defensive. Heavy's the face of TF2, and honestly, the world could use more Heavy mains. Let's start with what he brings to the table. Heavy sports a gargantuan amount of health, the most in the game in fact. 300 HP at base. Heavy is designed to take a lot of punishment while also being able to dish out as much as he gets. No good Heavy goes down easily, especially if there's a medic available, as Heavy's default overheal brings him to 450 HP, but we'll talk more about that in the medic episode. While Heavy is the closest thing this game has to a tank, he also moves like one. He has the slowest walk speed in the entire game, just a little slower than Soldier. With this, while Heavy isn't a bad choice for any offensive push, his design philosophy is clear. You're meant to hunker down and defend. That's really the best way I can describe Heavy's gameplay in a nutshell. You take things slow and defend key objectives and points. While this might turn a few people off from Heavy, which who can blame them since this playstyle isn't everyone's bottle of vodka, those that do choose to main Heavy know that he's a powerhouse against unprepared opponents. I mean, the last thing you want is to round a corner and be met by a practical Toho game in your face. With this, let's go into Heavy's primary weapon and maker of his kit, the minigun. The minigun can be insane, especially in shorter ranged combat. The minigun has a 0.87 second wind-up time before it can fire, which one should bear in mind when engaging in a fight as Heavy. But at base, each bullet fired does 9 damage, and the bullets come out of the minigun at 0.105 seconds after each one. Heavy's DPS with the minigun is insane if you can aim it properly, though it should be noted that the minigun is best suited for medium range engagements. At long ranges, come on. At close range, you can achieve a similar DPS, but your tracking is going to be tougher since an enemy is right up in your face and zipping across your crosshair faster than if you were at a longer range. Another feature of the minigun is that you can rev the thing to avoid the windup when you reach a fight at the cost of moving incredibly slowly. You can circumvent this by jumping and revving in the air to squeeze a little more distance out of your regular walk speed. For his secondary, Heavy has, once again, the shotgun. I won't spend too much time on the shotgun since its role on Heavy is almost the same as on the other two classes we've gone over with the shotgun, but I will say that it's very handy when you're walking around and get caught out by an opportunistic opponent. Heavy's health pool is large, but it can be depleted quickly if you're caught with your minigun unrevved, so the shotgun is a solid choice of secondary if you need damage sooner than your minigun can rev. Heavy's melee, his fists, are not too bad. They're pretty reliable if an enemy is at close range and zipping around your minigun and shotgun, and the fists have the wide range of your standard melee. They do the same damage as any stock melee option, and you can even attack with either one if you so please. As for approaching people trying to melee them, Heavy's slow speed makes this not an ideal way to attack. Really, if you're trying to sneak behind people with the fists, you'd be better off using something like the Holiday Punch or just swapping to your primary weapon. With his slow speed and high health pool, Heavy was designed with a real hunker down and defend mindset. He functions kinda similarly to a sentry gun in this regard, but Heavy is about as flexible as Demo Man in the order of battle since, unlike sentries, he can actually, move and think like a human. Even on offense, a good Heavy is a very nice class to have. He can be an anchor for the team and help mow down the defense, clearing the way for the rest of his team to move forward to an objective. Heck, his high DPS and health make him a good choice for destroying nearby sentries from just around cover, though you have to bear in mind that Heavy isn't always the best choice for destroying engineer nests. The knockback from bullets and rockets can push a Heavy back and out of an effective range to gun down a sentry, so unless you're being pocketed by a medic, you need to try and stay out of a sentry's sight. Think of it like a scout using his pistol to destroy a sentry from around cover. As for defense, once again, Heavy functions similarly to a sentry gun. I know I keep bringing up his DPS and health, but those are really the things that Heavy excels most in given his 300 HP and his minigun. He can be really helpful for area denial, preventing enemies from crossing certain thresholds or choke points, or from moving onto objectives like payload carts and control points. He can also help cover and escape when things get too dicey for the team, such as when the enemy team starts advancing and pushing forward. Heavy is a beast in close to mid-range combat, and combining a Heavy with a medic makes for the closest thing TF2 has to a boss fight in casual mode. A good Heavy can ruin any offensive push from the enemy as they have to run back for health or fall back from a counter push, allowing his team to heal, get some ammo, get their own sentry setup, build overcharge, respawn. A Heavy can buy some valuable time for the team. I really wish more people respected the power Heavy brings to any team. He's literally the least main class in TF2. Though, I think I kinda understand why. Heavy is slow. Slow in walking speed, being just barely slower than a soldier, and slow in revving his gun in the fight unless you do a thing called jump revving to maintain your speed and get into position quicker. But here's the thing. Heavy's slowness makes him an easy target, particularly for two classes, Sniper and Spy. Yeah, it's kinda an inevitability. You have to treat open areas like there's always a sniper staring down it, otherwise you're going to get shut down hard as you get headshot. Sometimes it's from an arrow. And also, since Heavy doesn't have much in the way of improving his movement, he's a prime pincushion for spies. Now, Heavy has good counterplay against spies since, again, you're a monster in close combat, but in the midst of a firefighter eating something, you might find a French guy making a shish kebab out of you. The best defense against snipers and spies is just awareness. Always be aware of sightlines in the event there's a sniper watching it, and always think to look behind you on occasion in case there's a knife headed for your back. That's the thing about Heavy. He's a massive target, but you're able to dish out massive damage easily. In essence, he's a high-risk, high-reward class. But allow me now to talk about his various unlockable weapons. The Natasha is weird. It only does 3/4 of the same damage as stock, and it revs up 30% slower, but it slows down your opponent to compensate for your lower damage, allowing you to turn them into Swiss cheese easier, though the slowdown is dependent on distance. The closer you are, the bigger the slowdown. Lastly, you take 20% less damage from all sources if you're spun up and below 50% health. There's no mistaking it, this is a defensive minigun and can allow you to stop an opponent from retreating altogether. The Tomislav is my minigun of choice. You fire a bit slower than stock, but not only do you spin up a bit faster than stock, and not only is your rev silent, which can allow you to more easily get the drop on enemies and surprise them with a hailstorm of bullets, but you also have a tighter spread on your bullets, allowing you to be a bigger threat at a distance. While the Tomislav is designed for ambushing, just rounding a corner and providing your opponent with a lethal shower of bullets, it's good in basically all situations. Though your DPS is a bit lower than stock's with that slower firing speed, so you're at a disadvantage in engagements with enemy heavies who have more health to spare. but the tighter spread can catch out enemies who are trying to fight you at a distance, so it really is a matter of how far away do you want to be a threat. The Brass Beast... Okay, I know I said that the Natasha was more defensive than stock, but the Brass Beast is pure defense. You get some pretty nice boons when using this thing, seeing a 20% increase to Heavy's already insane DPS, and you also get a 20% damage resistance when you're revved up and below half your health. But its drawbacks completely neuter this weapon's usability. The Beast revs half as slowly as stock, so you can't just jump around a corner and ambush an enemy. You kinda have to hope that an enemy rounds the corner and they run into you. This is especially a big deal with its other drawback being a 60% movement speed penalty when revved. You're pretty much going to be role-playing as a sentry with the Brass Beast. The Hualong Heater is pretty middling. Like, it's not amazing, but it's not garbage either. By revving this gun, you create a ring of fire around yourself that can deter spies or other classes using melees at the cost of 4 ammo per second. And no, it's not just an additional 4 ammo per second when firing, it's while you're revving the minigun. You also have the upside of having 25% more damage against enemies suffering afterburn at the cost of 10% less damage per bullet. The way I see it, this gun is meant to literally turn Heavy into Pyro, in that it rewards Heavy with loads of damage if he can get the drop on enemies and ambush them, shredding them to bits while they also suffer afterburn. That said though, you're probably gonna always want to play around payload carts, dispensers, and ammo packs because of that ammo consumption. You're not likely to run out of ammo on your other miniguns, but on the heater, yes. Before we talk about Heavy's shotgun secondaries, and he actually has a unique one this time around, I want to talk about his most useful secondaries, his food items. These items are amazing. Well, all but one of them are. To start, each food item can be thrown as full-on health kits for your teammates, or enemies, which can save anyone in a pinch, and especially your team's medic will be grateful in a lull between firefights. Each of these items takes 4 seconds to eat, but force you into a taunt state while eating them, meaning you can't eat these items when you're in a place you can't taunt, like underwater. When Heavy is at full health, they can be instantly recharged by walking into a health pack or the resupply cabinet. The Sandwich, not Sandwich, Sandwich, is arguably Heavy's most useful secondary, period. When eaten, you recover 300 HP without overheal, so it's basically a free full heal after a firefight. That said, the Sandwich takes 30 whole seconds to recharge, so bear that in mind. You can't spam eat it after every battle. When you throw it, and it comes with little plates so your friends don't have to eat a dirty sandwich, it acts as a medium health kit, which is very nice after a hectic battle. The second banana, which was Heavy's participation trophy during the time of the Jungle Inferno update, is my personal secondary of choice. It doesn't quite heal as much as the Sandwich, but it does heal 200 HP, so it's 2/3 as great. The thing I love most though is that the banana charges in 10 seconds instead of 30, so quantitatively, you get more health restored than the Sandwich. That said, 200 health isn't as good as 300 health, so I'd say it's either on par with the Sandwich or even slightly worse. On top of that, this item acts as just a small health kit instead of a medium one, so your teammates aren't going to get as much of a heal. Still, even though this was meant to be a consolation prize for Heavy since the Jungle Inferno update became the Pyro update, this ended up being actually really helpful. The Buffalo Steak Sandwich sucks. Well, okay, it's sorta kinda useful in medieval mode, where you don't have guns and only have your melee weapons. But for as long as the Buffalo Steak is in effect, you're stripped of your primary weapon and can only use melee in a game where most classes are experts at mid to close range. You take 20% more damage from all sources while your melee does mini crits, and your movement speed is increased by 30%. I think it was meant to turn Heavy into a temporary diet Demo Knight, but here's the thing. Demo Knight can easily close the distance on faraway targets with his charge, so much so that there's even an advanced movement tech, seriously go watch Solar Light, you can do with him, while all Heavy has with the Buffalo Steak is walking menacingly. You can't even heal yourself with a steak, but you can at least throw it as a medium health kit. Lastly, there's the Delocos bar. It's the Russian word for chocolate, chocolade backwards. When you eat the Delocos, you heal for 100 health, which is okay, I guess. But its biggest boon is that for 30 seconds, you get an additional 50 max health. Yes, max health. This gives you a good degree more independence without a medic, as you're more able to safely cross sniper sight lines, you get a larger benefit from smaller medium health kits, you can survive more random crits, it takes a full clip of rockets or grenades to bring you down, overall just more survivability all around. Heck, Medic's quick fix overheal can even heal you to just shy of your default overheal. It's nuts! This is more or less the closest Heavy gets to a pure tank, especially if you run this with the Brass Beast and Fists of Steel. You can also throw the Delocos for a small health kit for people, and it recharges in 10 seconds like the second banana. Now, for shotguns. Heavy has the Panic Attack, and its role is basically the same as on Pyro or Soldier, although it is nice for when an enemy rounds the corner into your face and you don't have the time to rev up your minigun and start firing. The Family Business is Heavy's only unique shotgun. It's not a bad weapon at all, just kinda underwhelming, though I'd still place it above the shortstop in an actual tier list. In exchange for 15% less damage, you get 2 more shotgun shells in the clip for 8 shells and max ammo, and you get an increased firing speed, allowing your damage output to be about on par with the stock shotgun. I'd still say the food items minus the buffalo steak are the superior secondaries for Heavy, but if you want pure raw damage output, or if a medic is pocketing you hard, the Family Business is a fun alternative to stock. That said, when the damage penalty rears its ugly head, it makes itself pretty known, and having 8 shells in the clip means that fully reloading this thing is going to take a bit longer than usual, which could be a problem. Overall, I'd say keep an eye on your ammo because odds are it's going to run out pretty quick. For melees, I have to start with my melee of choice, the Fists of Steel. In exchange for your healing game being significantly gutted, enemy melee attacks hitting you twice as hard, and getting your next weapon out twice as slowly, you get 40% reduction in damage from ranged sources while you have the Fists of Steel out. These turn you into a brute force tank able to survive multiple headshots from snipers, a number of meat shots from scouts, closing the distance on sentries, the works. And like I said, when combining these with the Delocos bar, you become a practically unstoppable force as you charge into the enemy team, especially when you have a vaccinator medic pocketing you. You do have to watch out for people swinging their melees at you, Demo Knights especially. See, a crit from the Eyeliner on a stock Heavy isn't enough to kill him. On a Fist of Steel Heavy, without the Delocos bar or fish cake, death. So while you can run into a hailstorm of bullets with the Fist of Steel, anyone bonking you on your head is going to hurt you a lot more. The killing gloves of boxing are pretty simple, but there's beauty in simplicity. You punch a bit slower, making it not ideal for sustained melee fights, but when you kill with these weapons, you actually get guaranteed critical hits for 5 seconds on all of your weapons, though it's important to note the crit duration doesn't stack. But with the KGB, and yes, that's the joke they were going for, you can either follow up on your melee kills with another swing for a potential rampage with these, or you can switch to your shotgun, assuming you have one equipped, for a devastating 1-2 punch. It's pretty fun to kill medic combos with these, since you can drop the medic with the KGB and follow up on their patient with some crits. You can use your minigun with the KGB's effects, but you're going to be wasting time switching weapons and revving, so I recommend against using the Natasha or Brass Beast with the KGB if you're going for KGB minigun combos. I'll be honest, I sleep a bit too much on the gloves of running urgently. These things are really nice, as when you hold them out, the Heavy actually speeds up to about the walking speed of a demo man, which is just barely below average. This can help you reach the front lines faster, make wider jumps, make a quick getaway after a fight, or do a risky play by closing the distance on an enemy, preferably when they don't see you. But this weapon has a tough love approach to using them. By pulling them out, you sacrifice 20 max health, and your max health decreases by 10 every second until it gets to a minimum of 100 HP. Your max overheal is also affected by this decrease. A way to counteract this is to use the Gru, yes they did another funny with the name, to make a getaway after a fight. Your actual HP drains slower the further it is from max health, so you can use the Groot to run to a health pack or a dispenser or the resupply locker and run right back to the front lines pretty easily. You can absolutely pair this with the Deloco's bar in order to give yourself more max health to drain and keep yourself in a healthy position a bit longer, and a hair of difference in a firefight is capable of greatly affecting the outcome. The Warrior Spirit. Okay, so you punch considerably harder with this thing equipped, 30% harder to be exact. This bumps your base damage up to 85 per hit, allowing you to two-shot medics and gunslinger engineers, and your critical hits are practically tyrannical at 254 damage per swing, enough to kill a soldier with some overheal in one hit. On top of that, you get 50 health back every time you kill with this thing, so you can enter a fight and end it more easily with the damage boost, and get some health back on top to carry you to the nearest healing source. So the Warrior Spirit is a really nice weapon. At least, I'd say that if not for its downside of 30% more damage vulnerability while you have it out from all sources. If you're noticed while charging at someone with this equipped, you're gonna die considerably faster. Not much more can two-shot you with the Warrior Spirit out that couldn't with stock, but when you feel that damage vulnerability, you really feel it. Since you don't get a speed boost, you also can't use the Warrior Spirit to close the distance on an enemy, making it not ideal for starting a melee fight. Ultimately, it's not a garbage weapon, but there's a reason this thing isn't meta. Unquestionably, Heavy's worst melee is the Eviction Notice. You attack 40% faster with these equipped, your movement speed is bumped up by 50%, and when you hit an enemy, you get a speed boost that stacks on top of your base movement speed with these equipped, and your movement speed with the boost is almost as fast as Scout. However, you then have a damage penalty of 60%, doing 26 damage per swing, while your max health drains about half as fast as with the Groot, and you need to pay max health to equip this. What I think this weapon is supposed to do is make Heavy an aggressive melee fighter, able to close the distance more easily on his foes and keep the pressure on them, but it's impossible to maintain that pressure while they're running away relatively healthy since you don't do that much damage with the Eviction Notice anyway, and you're dead. I don't use this, except in a Times 10 community server to do JoJo stuff with, and there's a good reason for that. I like being able to actually kill my enemies as the big Russian guy. Last, but most certainly not least, is the most recognizable of Heavy's melees, the Holiday Punch. This thing is goofy, and is able to turn Heavy into a subclass, sort of, that I like to call Fat Spy. They're identical to the stock fists, except with one downside. Your critical hits do no damage. Instead, when you crit someone, assuming they're in a position where they can taunt, you tickle them and force them to laugh in the Schadenfreude taunt, regardless of whether they have the taunt equipped or not. In this way, it leaves the victim completely helpless for a few seconds. You get a guaranteed crit if you attack the enemy from behind, and enemy heavies wearing these will be forced to laugh no matter where you attack them from. That tickle feature is nuts if you can pull it off, as it's essentially a stun mechanic. With it, you can stop an Uber push in its tracks by forcing the medic or his patient to stop and laugh, giving it a legitimate utility in a desperate team fight, especially if you're being pocketed by a Kritzkrieg medic. You can also use Heavy's default high noon kill taunt with this, which can insta-kill anyone hit with it. So if you want to completely shove some holiday cheer down the enemy team's throats by tickling them and using the taunt on them for an instant kill, finish the job with your other two weapons, or let your team finish the enemy off, you can do that easily with the Holiday Punch. Or you can be a hoovy and tickle the enemy team for kicks and giggles, whatever floats your boat. And that was the Heavy summarized. I really wish more people mained Heavy. He's the anchor of the team, the defensive hold personified, and yet nobody wants to play him because of snipers and spies. I mean, I guess I kinda get it based on that. Still, have some respect for the guy, whether an actual player or by his iconography, because Heavy is more than willing to, and capable of, turning you into really red Swiss cheese if you underestimate him. But there's a whole nother class with incredible defensive potential, but who's capable of playing any role you need him to on a team. Next time on Let's Play Team Fortress 2, we'll be taking a look at the little man from Bee Cave, Texas with 11 PhDs, the Engineer. Until next we meet, make the enemy team play a sudden and unplayable game of Toho, make them run in fear from the objective, and tell them to subscribe to the Gamerator 10.
Alright, if we're playing something that's not 2-4, I'm sitting up in my chair and turning my light on.
Oh, he's...
Why-
oh, he's
Why are you
he's ready.
turning your light on?
Because my light helps me focus. What wash? What wash?
Yes!
Come on, man, you gotta do it.
Watch
I
it.
do that every time I shower.
Me too.
And I shower like every day.
Don't believe that. You're a gamer.
You have game in your name. Okay.
Fuck his pee-pee!
You wanna know what? You wanna know why we're not winning? It's because the goons aren't here.
We're really about
God,
to
I am
change
good with this loadout.
Are we about to change our names?
No. Literally scared the shit out of me. I thought you were a bot for a second because you had like most of the hallmarks. I have PTSD from this damn crisis. I'm so sick and tired of playing on 2 Fort. Like, Skyle is a saving grace, but I mean, come on, I want to play more than just 2 Fort.
Too bad.
Buddy, what? Anybody order a can of whoop ass? Because it wasn't me, because I'm a busty eater.
Oh no, I just killed the pyro.
You know what? On course collision.
Oh.
Car crash.
The kids, no witnesses.
I have a cup. There's always a sentry up there.
Yeah, this is an evil freaking
They okay. I made them pop over.
choke. I do have my family business with me, so if we need to call upon the goon.
You know what? I'm already going into goon mode. We're goobering with this one, baby.
Oh,
Maybe not as good
Whoa.
as a medic as this guy, but
Hey, 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 hey!
that was a 3rd degree play.
Yeah, I heard that.
Jesus. Normally I hate random crits, but I mean, that was friggin' sick.
It was funny.
Makes sense. Oh no.
You killed it.
They'll never take me alive. So-called free thinkers when someone kill binds. Okay, they're not getting past here.
so many notifications that people are hurt.
Yeah.
I must heal.
Oh, that's an Uber!
I don't
Run!
know. I don't know who I am. I don't know something. All I know is I must heal.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I'm just trying my best.
Oh, hi.
doing the best
You're
that
here.
I can.
Oh my god.
Oh, yoy, 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 yoy! When the moon hits your eyes like a big pizza pie.
That's some of it.
Okay.
Haha.
We got him. We got him.
We got him. We got him.
They won't be expecting this. Oh no, they're expecting it. Oh, this will be perfect for showing that heaviest good sentry buster. I got the sentries.
Darn it.
I'm too sweet for you. This calls for
Hold on, let me see if. Are you do?
I was chasing after Spy I saw that was cloaking and trying to get away. I got a random crit and crit the wrong one.
Did he mean to kill that guy?
Yeah. Did I mean to kill that guy? All right, I've got conch. Ready? Go.
What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen?
Just shoot them. Oh,
Well, I
see.
was shooting them.
you were shooting them. That's a spy. That's not a spy.